always like to know what's going on during these times, and because I think it's amazing how they're all interconnected. Because prehistoric people all the way through now have been recognizing and celebrating solstices, which is, the longest and the shortest day, and then equinoxes, which are equal days, and, eclipses and full moons and all these different things. And all of them represent seasons and changes and growth and transitions. And it's interesting because Easter moves around quite a bit. And you'll probably notice that. I don't think it can go any sooner than like the 22nd and no later of March and the 25th of April. I'm don't quote me on that 100, but I know it's around that. And that is because it is based on the first Sunday after the Paschal's full moon. Like next year, it's going to be on my birthday, 420. So it's like this year it was the 31st, and next time it'll be 420. So it just moves around based on the full moon, which kind of brings me to the next thing is I find interesting of the intertwinement of things. There is the Anglo-Saxon goddess. She's the pagan god of spring, and her name, Eostre, is pronounced Eastra, Astra, or Estra, which is very close to Easter. And she represents fertility and growth and spring and all the newness. And then we've got the Christian festivals, which is about the resurrection, which is, of course, about rebirth and renewal, eternal life, infinite life, however you want to look at it. It's all kind of connected. Why the egg? Because the egg is new life. The egg is new birth, And even religions or modalities that don't celebrate it quite the same, I find it interesting with like Lent and Ramadan and the fasting and the introspection and the working towards letting go of the old and bringing up the new. It's so fun how really there's like this really interesting intertwinement. And I just think that's so cool because it's all in the reference of making it better, of new life, of new birth and renewal. I want us to think about, it's great when we have these dates and days and times and stuff to think about, and it kind of helps us reset sometimes. But I want us to know that we're empowered. We can rebirth and we can renewal anytime we want. And that's what I want to expand a little bit on, is about making renewal and rebirth small, big, all day, every day. From the minute you wake up, you can kind of change the way your mindset is. How many of us jump out of bed before our feet hit the floor? We are already making our bed, getting our coffee, cream cheese in our bagel, putting milk on our cereal, taking a shower, and we brush our teeth the same way, the same time. And do we ever really think about it at all? If you didn't have the taste of toothpaste in your mouth, would you remember brushing your teeth even, because you're like already thinking about things that are going on? So rather than jumping into autopilot, what I'd like us to do is start trying to stop and get into focusing our attention and our feelings. And because when we can correct our mindset, it will help other things throughout the day fall into place easier and smoother. Everybody wants the world to change. Everybody wants to be a part of that change. But where it really starts is with us. If we want to see the suffering to end, it starts with us letting go of the negativity of whatever it is that we're hanging on to. Because the true best gift we can give the world, everybody, and ourselves is our own self-transformation, our own rebirths, our own renewals, big and small, all day, every day. So when you wake up in the morning, stop for a second. Remind yourself that energy is the currency of the universe. And whatever you pay attention to is what you're buying into. You're buying into those experiences by paying your attention. So whatever you allow your consciousness, whether you're thinking about a meeting that you don't want to attend, or somebody you don't want to see that day that annoys you, or something that's giving you anxiety, if that's what you're thinking about as you just go about your morning, that's exactly what you're going to attract more of, is more anxiety, more anxiousness, more annoyances or things like that. So be selective on what you choose to focus on, and try with consciousness before you jump out of bed, and is to kind of focus on how you feel and how you want to feel and how you want that day to go forward. And the best place to start is gratitude and thankfulness as well. And this really is changing the chemistry in our bodies. It's actually rewiring your brain when you don't just hit the floor and continue to make the same 60 to 70,000 decisions that you make in a day. How many of them are the same thing over and over and over again? Now, I think we constantly think about like, okay, I think this way, or I think that way, or I'm affected by this belief, or I'm affected by that value. And that's good. What I kind of want to try to do is maybe shift it just a little bit, because sometimes, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I think about what I thought, and I thought about what I'm thinking about, and I'm thinking about the way I'm thinking about the things that I'm thinking about. And it's like, if I let myself go down that spiral again, am I producing what I really want in my life? Sometimes I think it's easier if we start with something maybe a little bit more physical. And I think we think of energy as totally abstract and not necessarily how it affects us in our everyday life and the things that have it. So I just want to give an example, like your clothes. The clothes that you wear are an expression of you. Yes, they're your individuality, they're your statement. But did you ever think about the fact that your clothes actually have a certain energy to them? Not only for yourself, but other people. Was what and it's always good to declutter. Just so you know, I'm not telling you that you got to change your whole wardrobe or anything, just kind of work through some things. But decluttering is always good, and letting go of those things. Where did you get what you have on? Is it from a vacation that ended up being a total bust and you're still hanging on to some negativity? Is it an ex that you still wear their sweatshirt that maybe it didn't turn out? Maybe that's something to pass on. And that kind of stuff it's like, or is it something that you had a bad experience in? Maybe it was something that you were wearing when an accident happened or things like that. If you can't change the story that might be floating through your head related to that, let it go. Let it go and let it move forward and be a gift to somebody else that won't have that. And you can infuse your energy. And I'm just using clothes as an example, but you can also use and infuse your energy and positivity into it. Inhale, exhale, feel good about something, be grateful. This is something that my grandma gave me and I love it. This is something that, I had one of the greatest experiences that I ever had, or whatever it is. We can also infuse that, because, in all reality, our true state of being comes from our inner state. But let's be realistic. Our external environment affects us too. So when I use the example of clothes, it can be clothes, it could be your car, it could be your home. To declutter and let go of the things that no longer serve you, this is a rebirth. This is a renewal. Put things on that are bringing you the joy that you want to be and have in your everyday life. Let's see. We can use these things to shield us. We can use these things to empower ourselves. Whatever you need it to do, just consciously choose the energy that you're calling into your day and not in that autopilot. You want to be the influence of your calm, positive, confident movement through life. So I'd like to share with you some things that have been going on in my life that kind of pull on all of these different things. But as some of you guys know, about 2.5 years ago, I was diagnosed with epithelial basement membrane dystrophy. It's called EBMD. And it is a supposedly hereditary corneal condition. And what happens is the two top layers of the cornea no longer adhere like they once did. So what I learned is that anytime my eyes would get dry, whether it was from a fan, whether it was from the heat, whether it was from sitting around a bonfire, whether it was medicine. Antihistamines will dry my eyes out. And big time sleeping, because your eyes are closed. Well, and they're not always closed. Even though we think we sleep with our eyes closed, we can still get air underneath of there. But anytime the eye would get dry, what happens is my lid actually sticks to it. And when I open my eyes, I'm causing big and small tearing of my cornea. And yes, it does not feel good. Sometimes it hurts worse than others and causes headaches. So this condition has actually given me an opportunity to learn lots of life lessons. It really has. Because one, to take care of myself. The original doctor was not able to the diagnosed wasn't able to treat and do surgery. So she sent me to somebody else. Did not like this guy, did not answer my questions, didn't have good bedside manner. And I had to stand up for myself. I had to advocate for myself. And it's so funny because I can do that in so many other ways. But when it comes to doing it for myself, it takes a bigger challenge. It's a little bigger challenge. So I switched doctors. Found a new doctor, liked this guy a lot. He actually answered all my questions, explained things thoroughly, gave me all my options, was willing to work with me to see how well I could manage this and if I was happy managing it or whether or not I was going to do the surgery. So again, this is all self-care. This is all making me slow down because every morning, guess what? I couldn't open my eyes immediately. You know why? Because I never knew how dry or attached they were. So I would take that moment and assess my eyes and see how they felt. And then I would progress from there. And then it built into, and it was actually what I was talking about. The jumping up in autopilot was something that I had listened to a Joe Dispenza thing, and it like totally connected with what I was doing and what he explained about slowing down and not being on autopilot and reprogramming our minds. And that's kind of what I started to do, is to set the stage for not only my physical care, but my emotional care throughout the day. So I have made the decision to get the surgery, which is a big self-care move for me. And my first surgery, because I can't do them both at the same time, will be this coming Thursday. That's why, I was on the prayer list. Thank you guys. And they will go in and they will remove the top layer of my cornea. And then they'll put a special lens on it. And I'll come home as a pirate, at least for a day or so. I think I come home with a patch, but only for a couple of days until my eyes start to my vision might clear up a little bit. And then I'll go back in another month and get the right eye done. But it's so amazing how, like I said, this is like, I'm going to see differently. It's a renewal. It's taking care of myself. I'm taking care of myself and doing things different. So it's being able to take time to appreciate where I've come from, where I'm at now, and where I want to be, and be grateful for that, and know that it's a blessing, and that every single day that we are going through something will soon become what we've been through. We've gotten through. We're going to be on the other side of it. I also had to change parts of my story so that the universe could rewrite it for me. I had to get in touch with how I felt vulnerable, how I felt dependent, how I felt weakness, how hard it is for me to ask for help. So I found this on the internet quite a while ago, and it's actually about crows. And I looked it up to try to make sure, and I couldn't find anything that indicated that it was not accurate. And I love the story and the core of it anyway. So, but basically, crows mate for life. And this couple had been together for 12 years. And 8 years ago, the female had been in an accident with a car, and it broke her beak. And so this mate patiently, lovingly took care of her, fed her, met her needs, and they actually continued to have offspring. She was a very loving, compassionate, affectionate mother, and the whole flock took care of her. I'm thinking, if a crow can get this, if crows can do this, we probably can learn something from this. And that, do you think she's sitting in her nest feeling guilty and bad because, she's being helped, or, is she doing what she should be doing? I had to kind of chuckle because I'm like, that is such a beautiful thing that we can learn from, to be open to that kind of love and understanding that, love is so much. It's a frequency, actually. And it is something that everybody shares, everybody has. And it's up to us, to start loving ourselves, loving our bodies, starting today and not ever stopping, of rebirthing and renewal and loving every day, being the love, embracing the love, treating ourselves like we would others, making different choices each and every day, big and small, waking up to gratitude and blessings every day, every moment can be a rebirth and renewal that changes your life and possibly somebody else's. Namaste.